Hello. We are gonna wait for like a minute or two to let people join, but we are live, and hopefully people are on. Maybe we should comment on like the group pages and tell people we're on.
Okay, hold on.
It's like just us. Hey guys!
Should I post the link with it?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. We'll give it until like 9:04.
Sounds good.
Did you guys see the food that my mom sent me?
What?
My mom sent me all this food for Valentine's Day, or us.
Oh, I saw it. That's so cute.
Jelly. Oh my goodness, that looks so good. I want some.
Okay.
We've like all sick. I haven't gone grocery shopping and I need food in my house.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves. I'll go first. I'm Kelsey Thornton. I am a diamond, and I joined in April of last year, so almost a year, I guess, which is crazy to think about. And I joined with Aaron Tweed just because I knew Kyle from college, and I saw her posting and tagging him and all this stuff, and I was like, I need to get in on that. And so I started with her and kind of took off running and never looked back. Cassie, you can go next.
Okay, so I'm Cassie. I'm a diamond leader. I joined in April of last year as well, which is crazy that it's almost been a year. I joined under Erin Tweed as well. She actually lives in Houston, literally maybe 5 miles from my apartment, which is insane. I actually found her on Instagram and reached out to her and became a loyal customer first, and I'd never heard of the products or the company, and probably a week after I signed up as a customer, actually it was probably like 3 or 4 days, I decided to be a distributor. And contacted her and signed up as a distributor. And this is where I'm at now. I do ItWorks full time, and it's been amazing. So, who wants to go next? Kylie?
Yeah. I'm Kylie. I'm a diamond leader as well. I had watched Alyssa bill you for 6 months, and actually I cheated and used my sister's loyal account so I wouldn't have to sign up as a loyal customer for like 3 months because I wanted to use the products. I met with Alyssa multiple times and asked her if stuff about the business, but never wanted to take the leap, and then finally decided I'm not going to change anything in my life by just sitting here. I might as well just take the leap and try it, and I've never looked back since.
Awesome. Claire?
I'm Claire. I'm also a diamond, and I watched Alyssa bill you for a year and a half, and I watched her do this business and just rock it. And I remember her post about bringing Michael home, and I remember showing it to Brian and being like, wouldn't that be crazy if I did a business like that and I could retire you? And he was like, yeah, do it. But then we didn't think about it again for like another year or so, and then I decided to join in July of this year, and just like have fallen completely in love with this business and what it's done for our family. And 5 months in, I was able to retire my husband, and we're all in.
That's amazing. Okay, guys, so I'm really excited. We have a lot of good stuff we're going to talk about. We're kind of going to break it up into 3 different key points that we want to talk about. The first one is going to be goal setting. Then we're going to talk about the best ways and best tips we have for getting loyal customers, and then the best ways and tips we have for getting distributors. So I'll start with Kylie and just say, you know, we talked a little bit last night when we were preparing for this about, you know, what type of goals you set for yourself and how you kind of categorize them. And, you know, you had mentioned that you wanted, you know, you always set really high goals, and just kind of talk through that and how you think that helps you.
So I'm really into like figuring out people's personalities, and so for me, like I'm really in touch with trying to like figure out for me like what works best for me, because something that might work for someone else doesn't work best for me. And so for me, like I'm someone that wants to set super high goals. Like I want to set goals that are like maybe 6 months down the road, because I want to do everything that I can every single day to make sure that my focus is always on those six months down the road. Otherwise, if I don't have a goal set that far ahead, then I will just kind of feel like I'm busy in my mind, like everyone says, and just kind of go days without messaging, rather than setting small goals as well of messaging a certain amount of people each and every day so that I can get to that large goal that I set. Because for me, I'm all about how Mark says, if your goal doesn't scare you, then it's not big enough. And so a lot of my goals I feel like are large, but they don't really scare me. So that's why I actually set my goals super high, so that if then I'm really motivated to reach something that's not really, that people could say, I guess, is impossible. Like for me, that motivates me a ton.
Right. No, I mean, and we kind of talked about it too, Claire, like last night, how you made the distinction between, like, you know, you have daily goals, but then you have like dream goals. And it's important to kind of have both, because when you're doing that, the daily goals can sometimes get monotonous and wear on you if you don't have that dream goal and that bigger goal in mind. So just kind of touch on that and how you break it down too.
Yeah, I definitely, like, I have to set dream goals for myself and practical goals for myself, because I have to know where I'm going, but I also have to know how I'm going to get there. And so, like, I'll have my big goal that I'll put, like, up on my mirror, up on my wall, of, like, the rank and the dollar amount and, like, the dreams that I have. And those motivate me and drive me, but it's all well and good to have those things, but if you don't have the practical daily steps that are going to get you there, then you're just kind of going to be, like, directionless. So, like, it's really important to set those big dream goals, but then, like, when people are going to talk to a day, type of posts, and like getting in, and that's where you can kind of get in and hone those certain things too. Like that's where, and then you can have like direction for where you're going for training and stuff. Like, well, I know that I need to work on my posting skills, so I'm going to go and I'm going to watch this training on posting or whatever, and like it just kind of like drives how you're working your business daily.
Right. Exactly. And that's kind of one of the reasons that we wanted to have a training like this, was because, you know, monthly we have these goals of filling our steps to success, and but there's no daily protocol that is right for everybody that is going to help them achieve that monthly goal. And so we wanted to kind of help you guys break it down into what you can be doing and how you can set smart goals every day to help you achieve filling out your steps to success. And Cassie, kind of talk about like how, you know, when you're helping your team members set goals, like what are some things that you look at as far as making sure that they're the right goals for the right person, or helping them figure that out?
Okay, so whenever I first started, I was working full-time. So I worked like 40-plus hours a week in a salon, which is very demanding because I didn't have breaks. I didn't have like a set schedule, because even if I got off at 6 o'clock, I'd probably be there till 8 if I had a client that was running late or something like that. So I had to be very specific about what my goals were going to be so that I could stay focused, and I still do that today. But my biggest advice would be, you know, when you're signing up new distributors and new team members, and I mean, even do this for yourself too, especially if you're new, or even not new. One thing that I think is super important, and which we've talked about before, is to really look at what's realistic for you. So look at your schedule and say, like if you have kids or if you have a full-time job, find out what works in your schedule where you can send out your messages, where you can schedule your posts, where you can add people to your network and open your network. Because if you if you were to talk to me and ask me what I do now that I don't have a full-time job, I do more than what I used to do. And so what I do now, not that I could have done it then, but it would have overwhelmed me, I think. So I think finding out what's realistic for you based on your schedule is super, super important. So when I'm signing new people up, I ask them point blank, okay, what days of the week do you work? And if they don't have a specific schedule, that's okay, because not every job is like that. But find out those times of the day where you can literally sit out and plan the things that you're going to do to make sure that you get them done. Because if you're just going to say like, oh, today I want to reach out to 20 people, but then you get caught up in the day, then you're not going to end up doing it, because you're just going to overlook it and be like, oh, I can do it tomorrow. But that's 20 people that you're missing out on that day to reach out to that could have responded to you. So I think that's super, super important, is to set those realistic goals, even if it's like, and I know me and Kelsey have talked about this before, like if it's like, some people in this company like to reach out to like, hundreds of people a day. And for me, it's not that I can't reach out to that many people, it's that I can't keep up with that many people. So if those people are starting to respond to me, I can't mentally like keep up with 100 people messaging me, or even like 50. I really have to keep it to like 5 to 10, because that's a conversation that I can, like make sure it stays personal and I'm really getting to know those people and their goals. So I think that is what I would say is for sure. You really need to pick goals that are realistic for you, and find an accountability partner. I can't say that as many times as I have before, but find somebody that's on the same track as you. Like if you're going for executive, or you're going for Ruby, or you're going for Diamond, or whatever you're going for, find somebody you do not know. Don't pick somebody that you know, because that's going to challenge you to get out of your comfort zone and really get to know people in this business, because that's a big part of this business is the friendships. So reach out to somebody that you don't know that might be just a sideline. Kelsey and I live in 2 different states, but we talk almost every single day about our goals, and so having that person that can relate to your journey is going to help hold you accountable to reaching those goals, so that you can get there together.
Yeah. No, I love like everything that you said. I think, the key things that you touched on were finding goals that are realistic for you. And one of the reasons that's so important is because I found when I was working full-time that I would set these goals, and if they were like message 50 people a day, add 500 people on Instagram, and they were goals that were going to be really hard for me to do every single day. Now, were there days that I accomplished them? Absolutely. But it was maybe 4 out of 7 days. And the other 3 days, I was feeling horrible about myself because I didn't get those things done. And so it wears on you if you don't have goals that you feel like you're accomplishing. Because when you do have those goals, you feel like, okay, I checked this off, I feel good, I know what I did to grow my business today. Even if it doesn't result in getting a distributor or a loyal customer. Because especially if you're new and you see like all these people being welcomed to the team pages, and you see all these people have gotten their 4 loyal customers in like a week or 2 days or whatever it is, and you feel like you're kind of slacking, if you have some controllable things that you can focus on, like how many people you're messaging, you can't control the result of what that happens, but you can figure out, my messages, aren't leading to, I'm getting responses, but once I send them more information, they're not responding, and you can kind of pinpoint certain areas that you can improve on, like Claire said, and you can go to your upline, or you can find training videos that are helping you, but you kind of have to figure out something daily. One thing that I love is a girl on my team, Ashley, she's a teacher, and she has like a planning period that she knows, and she has a goal of like messaging 10 people during that hour, adding a certain amount of people that she knows that she has to get done every day. Another thing that I think is funny, because we were talking about, and I just thought of this, we were talking about, dream goals versus daily goals, is on her screensaver was, or her lock screen was a list of her goals that she wants to accomplish every day. And on my screensaver, hold on, let me see. My screensaver is I am Presidential Diamond 2016. So mine is my dream goal. So it just goes to show you that no matter what, having that goal in mind, if you're talking about your daily goals or you're talking about your long-term goals and your dream goals, it needs to be something that's going to push you and drive you to succeed. Does anybody else have anything that they want to add to the goal setting?
I think going along with the whole finding what's best for you, I think it's really good also to not compare other people's journeys, because like for me and like some others, like obviously there's people that work full time in this, and so that people that are putting 9 hours a day as stay-at-home moms, I'm not able to do something like that. But I have to make sure that I'm setting aside a goal that even if I can't put in 9 hours a day, I'm still putting a set hour or two that's good as if I was giving it 9 hours a day. And so it's good to make sure that you're not comparing yourself to someone and thinking, oh, well, they obviously are probably signing more people because they have more time. You can still do all those things in a less amount of time if you really give it your all in that hour that you have or 2 hours or whatever.
Yep, it's just about working smarter and not harder.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I was just going to add, just like with your daily goals, like make sure that when you're working your business throughout the day, like make sure that what you're doing is income producing. And I know we've heard it before, but like it's something I constantly have to remind myself of. Is it's really easy to just start scrolling Facebook, and it's really easy to just like go to your team page or your team message thread and just like be really active there. And that's good, and it's good to like build your team, and it's good to do self-development stuff, but you also have to like make sure that within your daily goals that you're reaching out and that you're doing things that are going to build your business, because building into your team is important, but you also have to reach out in order to grow your team, you know?
Absolutely. I always have the rule for like to help with my time management is that when I go into my room, like when we go into our bedroom, like I don't have my phone, like I try not to get on my phone because that's like our time. But when I'm like downstairs, there's certain things that I feel like, we'll talk about this a little bit more as when we get into the conversation of how to sign distributors, but there's a certain factor that really helps when you respond right away. If somebody responds to your message, if you respond right away and continue that conversation, that's really going to improve your chances, in my opinion, of having better dialogue. And so that's one thing that I really try to focus on from that standpoint. So just like making sure you create boundaries like within yourself and within your family situation and your relationship, because that's going to really help. Like, and I know Brian, I always ask him, like, obviously Cassie's my accountability partner, but she's not here. And so he'll say, did you get your messages in? Did you do this? And so like I've asked him to do that because for me, it's just another person that can hold me accountable. So, and a lot of times too, when your spouse is involved, and even if it's just something as simple as asking you a question like that, it's going to feel more of like a family or team effort.
Mm-hmm. Like
so, anyways, so now we're going to talk about how to get loyal customers and things that we think kind of have been put on the back burner a little bit, or like just the basics that we've maybe gotten away from, that we've kind of changed recently and seen a lot of good results. So one thing Cassie talked on last night was just how we need to start, posting a little bit more before and afters than we used to. So if you can just elaborate on that, Cassie, that'd be great.
Okay, so I was trying, like when we were talking about doing this, when I sat down to make my list of like the things that I do to get loyal customers, I was like, okay, I'm going to make a list of all the things that I do now and all the things that I used to do. And so when it came down to it, it was so simple, and it was posting before and after pictures. And I think whenever I first started, we didn't have the Instagram training yet, and I don't think we really had a lot of social media training, because we've just had that big Instagram training lately when we all started really getting into Instagram. And since the beginning, I've always posted with Instagram and Facebook consistently, but I really only worked Facebook. But I used to post at least 2 to 3 before and after pictures a day, and I got so many results from that, you guys. Like there were days where I would sign 3 or 4 customers in one day, and that was because I was posting those before and after pictures, and they were pictures that people could relate to. And when I think back to when I started, that's what made me reach out to Erin, was that, I had never followed Erin before I saw this picture. And one day, this picture, it was a defining gel picture on legs. And I was in a moment in my life where I was looking for something like that. And so when that picture crossed my feed, I had no idea who Erin was, and I had never seen any of her stuff before. And I saw that picture, and I was like, oh my God, that's insane. Like, I want that. Whatever that is, I want it. So I immediately messaged her, and I was like, what is that? Like, what is that product? And that's when I found out what ItWorks was, and that's when I found out what the product was. I immediately signed up as a customer, and then, continue to follow her, and we'll talk about that too. But it's just, like, people are drawn to those results when they can really see what the product is doing. And not every product that we have can you do that with, but majority of them you can. And so I think it's so, so important to get back to the basics of posting before and after pictures, because that's a big part of our business, I think. And using social media as your best friend to connect to people that can see those things, that's when people are going to reach out to you. I have a lot of people that will reach out to me from before and afters, from product model posts and stuff like that, which we'll probably get more into that too. But that's one big.
Go ahead and talk about that too, about like how, like, the wording of, like, when you post before and after, like what you say, because I know one big thing for me that I learned from Jade just by watching like a video on how to get LCs was I used to post like the price and like the discount and all that stuff with my post, but now I just try to do like more emotion with it, like, oh my gosh, look at her results, I'm so happy for her, or like, look at the difference in her face, like, look how much happier she looks when she's taking the after picture before, like, this could be you, because people buy that emotion, they don't the price, because when they feel that emotion, it's gonna a really large number to deter them away from buying it. So a lot of times when I hear, what I hear from feedback is once they do ask me, what the price is, and I tell them, they're like, oh my gosh, that's not bad at all. So, it's a great piece of, like, to let people feel more comfortable to reach out to you as well, because it's easy conversation. Hey, I saw that picture that you posted. How much is that? And that's a very simple question versus saying to somebody who doesn't know you, hey, I have stretch marks all over my body. Can you help me? Like, it's easier to start talking about price, and then you can get into more personal stuff. But it's going to be harder for them to open up about, how they feel about their body or what they want to change. So just more so putting emotion behind those posts versus prices and discounts and all of that. That's going to be like the bread and butter, what's going to help you seal your deal once that conversation does start. So, Cassie, I know you talked about like the wording of what you did and what helped you, just changing one word.
Okay. I know what you're talking about. I was like, wait, what? Okay. Sorry, blonde moment, y'all. Like, I'm blonde for real. It happens a lot. Okay, so what we were talking about, and I honestly couldn't tell you what training I heard this from or who even started it, but I took it, and that's all I've done since I heard it. And it's literally one word. And you know how I used to talk about, in my before and after pictures, I used to talk about loyal customers, okay? Nobody knows what a loyal customer is until they start talking to you about it. And I started talking about, then we switched the conversation and I started talking about product testers. And I think that when I started using the word tester, I got more feedback, but at the same time, I had people thinking that they weren't going to have to pay anything, even though I simply stated that they were going to get a 40% discount, meaning you're going to pay something, because that's not a 100% discount. People still thought that they were.
Other people are blonde too,
Yeah, it's fine. A lot of people thought they were getting it for free, and so I was like, and I probably would have done that, honestly. But I changed it, and this was on some training that I heard, where now I call them product models. Whenever I used to be a hairdresser, I used to post frequently about, like, I would use word swag, or there was one for Android that I used to use similar to word swag that you didn't have to pay for it. It was called like word heart or something. It's similar to the word swag, but it's a little bit different, and it's like a pink logo or something. Anyways, I would post like a picture that said hair models needed, or whatever, because I needed people to come into the salon for me to do like their hair for a test or something like that. And I got so many people like contact me because they saw the word model and they were like, oh my God, what is that? I want to be a model. Like, you just feel cool when you're called a model. So I started doing that, and I swear it has changed so much. People are like, I want to be a product model. What does it entail? And from there, I just tell them, like, are you like familiar with our loyal customer program? And they're like, no, and I'll explain it, and boom, that's it. That's all you have to do. It's literally like maybe a 4-minute conversation. That's it. But people, for some reason, are just drawn to that word, and it has helped me so much. And so I call it a product model, which means loyal customer. But they just feel special. Something about it makes them feel special, and so yeah, that's what's worked for me a lot.
Claire, like, what can you? That's really good advice. I love that, and I've tried to switch mine up too. So I'll do models, and then I'll do testers, and I'll just see, because I feel like different clientele. Like, for me, I have a lot of like my mom's friends, and they don't ever look at themselves anymore as models. So that word isn't going, to cater to them as well as it is like people who are around our age. So I think it's just important to remember, like, if something's not working, try something else. It's okay. It's okay to switch things up. Claire, what's one thing that you do that you think has helped you a lot to get, stay consistent on getting loyal customers?
I think the biggest thing for me was kind of I went through a slump like in the past couple of months with loyal customers, and I think something that kind of clicked in my brain was that I have been signing distributors consistently, and that's because I believe in this business so much, and I'm so in love with this business model. And I realized, like, I have to be that in love with our products, and I love our products, I use them, but I wasn't, like, creating that passion in myself for our products, of just, like, passionate about what I have and what I can actually offer people in these products. And so I had to kind of switch in my mind and like get back to the basics of being excited and putting the wrap back on my own body and getting excited about my results again. And like right before conference, I did another box of wraps, and like I literally was just like, what the heck are these things? Like, these are amazing. Like, I saw my results and I just was like, this is crazy. Like, this is crazy. Like, everyone needs this. And I got excited again. And so I think if you're kind of feeling like in a slump with loyal customers, I think get yourself excited again about the products. Like, if there's something you haven't tried, throw it on your auto shipment. Like, if there's something you've been curious about, like, don't look at the price tag. If you're in the beginning of this business, I know it's easy to be like, oh, I don't want to invest a whole ton until I'm making a ton. But you have to invest to make it. And I think if you've been really intrigued about the protein powder and you think that you could sell that, if you loved it, then like buy it and start using it every day and like start really incorporating it into your lifestyle so that then you can really talk to people about it. And so just get yourself really
I think that's awesome advice.
And educate yourself about it too.
Yes.
Yeah, I would second that, because I've gotten away from that also. Like, I used to and I honestly use a lot of the products every day, and I just don't post about it. And I don't know why I got away from doing that, because it's so easy to post about that. Like, if I'm drinking my greens, like today I was so mad at myself because I was at Starbucks and I got this like peach green tea lemonade thing that they have, and honestly I just get it because they give you free refills, and I'm there for like 4 hours. So, but when I'm there, like, and I had my greens and I just mixed it in there, and it was so good. And I should have just like taken a picture and posted about it. And I love our greens; they're actually my favorite product. But it's just easy to do things like that because people, I don't want people asking me, well, do you even actually use the products? And even when I'm pregnant now, I still need to talk about like how I can wrap my arms or do something like that, because just because I'm not wrapping my stomach doesn't mean that I can't incorporate that stuff. So I definitely agree, and I need to start getting back to doing that as well. Kylie, what's one thing that, you're going for double, and volume's obviously a huge part of it. What's one thing that you do to kind of help with volume?
Well, I know, like, and they always say, like, go back to the basics of, like, what you did before. And so, like, I've been thinking, especially with this promotion, like, what can I do that really boosted my volume that I did back then? Because I was, like, signing loyal customers like a crazy woman at the beginning. And so I was, like, looking through, and I was, like, honestly, one of the biggest things that I did was not only post before and afters, but, like, I felt like at the very beginning, like, I was, like, deciding who would want this and who wouldn't want it. And so I was, like, basically deciding for them before I even asked them. And then like a week into it, I decided to switch my mindset and just message everyone that I can. Like I didn't care if I was like burning bridges or what people thought about me, or like if they never wanted to talk to me again, or if they weren't interested. Like I was just messaging as many people as I possibly can. And the more actually it ended up being the people that I thought that wouldn't want this were the ones that actually wanted to try the product. And they were like, oh, I've been actually wanting for someone to reach out to me for a really long time. I just never had the courage to reach out to someone myself. And like it was so important then to like message people, and like everyone that I knew I was messaging like crazy. And so I started doing that again, like posting before and afters, and like every single person that likes it, I message them, and then I like go through my friends list and like follow up with those people that maybe I talked to back in August that wanted to try it and I never followed up with them. Like just like not like prejudging these people, just like messaging as many people as I possibly can. And like Claire said, like we have awesome products, so why would I decide like who wanted them and who wouldn't want them? Like everyone probably wants them, they're just too afraid to come to you and ask. So like go in and put yourself out there and messaging those people. You never know who's going to say yes.
Right. No, I love that. Can you just give us an example, because I want to know too, like an example of something that you message people about the products, because that's one thing that I've never really done a good job at, is because I also feel a little bit awkward sometimes being like, hey, you need wraps, so do you want to try them? Like, what, insulting people, if that makes sense. So what's one, like an example of like something that you send to people without it being insulting?
Well, actually, and this is something that I do in my distributors too, like I compliment them. Like everyone wants compliments no matter what. So like I'll always compliment people first, especially if it's like a cold message. Like if I don't know this person, I'm asking them if they want products, they're going to be like, who is this girl and why is she messaging me? But if you like put it as a compliment first and like saying how much you love their page, or like even something little as like how much you like their sunglasses in one of their pics, like they're going to be more apt to listen to what you have to say. And so like Cassie, I actually use the word model as well. I used to use product tester, and again, I was one of those people that probably messaged Alyssa like 6 times. It was like, ooh, free hair, skin, and nails, sign me up, and she's probably like, idiot. So I stopped using product tester as well because I was getting the same type of people, and I use model as well. But I always make sure like when I'm not only complimenting them, but I'm telling them everything they can get with the product. Like I'm like, I can get you 40% off and a $10 free or $10 back on your when you click this link, and all your friends can share it. Stuff like I tell them all the perks that you can get right off the bat. So they're like, I don't even care what I'm buying. I want all of those perks. Like I'll buy whatever you have, whatever.
Right. No, that's awesome. I love that. Does anybody have any other things that they want to talk about with loyal customers? The last thing I just wanted to talk on was, and I kind of touched on it earlier, but just making sure that you're putting a variety of before and after pictures out there. Like not just posting a lot of skinny people, or like a lot of more overweight people, or just, like for me it's just harder. Like sometimes I get so caught up in the wraps because I love the results that I don't post a lot about defining gel, or I don't post a lot. And so making sure you're changing not only products, but what type of person is using that, so that people can see. Because what you really want is, when your goal is posting a before and after, is you want somebody to think, wow, that before picture looks like me, and I want my body to look like that after picture.
Yeah.
And so that is something that like I always try to like mix it up and do like people who are already fit and people who aren't already fit, so that people can also relate and say, wow, that product can work for me.
Mhm. I love that.
I
do like.
To add that it's like, I think when you're doing a loyal customer post, I've had a lot of luck with like doing text this word to me, like I just did a hair, skin, nails one with a lash before and after, and I said text lash to my number. And I think it goes back to kind of, Kelsey, what you were saying, like nobody wants to message you and be like, okay, hey, I have stretch marks, what do you have for me? Like, so it gives them something to say. And I do this for my distributor posts too, because it can be really scary to make that first contact, and it can be like intimidating to message someone and just like share your personal body issues or whatever you want help with. And so to give them a word that they can text, it like breaks the ice in a sense, and then they know how to contact you and stuff.
So let's say I saw your post about hair, skin, and nails, and I texted lash. like what would be a response that you would say to somebody who just sent you like a one-word kind of initiation?
It would just depend on like what my post said, like how many details I gave in my post, but I probably would just say like I always say like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, I can't wait to get you started. Are you ready to sign up right now is usually what I say. And then a lot of times then they'll come back with like asking the details, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. One thing too, like you said, is I think so important is anytime somebody reaches out to me, whether it's about the business or about the products, I say, oh my gosh, thank you so much for reaching out.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
And that is just, it makes them feel more comfortable, and you just say that you really appreciate it, or say like, I know it's not easy, or whatever the case might be, and then let them know, that you appreciate that, and it's like brave. And then if people say, like a lot of times, people say, I just have baby weight or whatever, and like I'll always say like, girl, I totally understand, just to like not make them feel so alone if they say
right.
certain things, or they're like, my hair has so much breakage and I really want to grow it out, and certain things like that. Just say things that they can kind of relate to, and be somebody that they feel comfortable talking to those things about. Because you know what? If they're comfortable talking to you about hair, skin, and nails, and you're really receptive to that, you could get somebody who's buying hair, skin, and nails, defining gel, and stretch mark cream, and really expand your sale versus just having one product that you're talking about. Because they might, feel more comfortable talking to you about their other issues that they have.
Two, I think that y'all use these. I've been using them a lot lately because I used to use them in the beginning all the time, and then I stopped. But for like product model posts or product tester, whatever you want to call it, I posted one today, and it's like you've probably seen them before, but it's like I'm looking to, like you can say something like, I'm looking to expand my portfolio. I'm looking for 5 people or however many people you want to put. I try to limit my number to like a small number so that the spaces seem very limited, so it creates that sense of urgency for people to contact you. But it's the one that usually has like 1 to 5 numbers or 1 to 10 numbers, and it says like, a specific person, like somebody who wants to grow out their hair, somebody that wants to lose weight. I've been posting those lately, and I've had so many people reach out to me that haven't before that I didn't even know were watching me, which everybody's always watching me, y'all. And they'll just send me the number instead of like sending a word like Claire said. They'll just send me the number that they want instead of saying like, let's say the number is stretch marks. They're not going to say I have stretch marks. They're going to say I want number 4, and then you can go off that and be personable and relatable with them with that too. So that's another idea also.
Yeah, I really, really like that. I think that's a great idea. Okay, so let's move on to distributors. And one thing that I love, what you said yesterday, Claire, was just talking about, there's not anything magic, but there is so much to be said about posting and what you can do with your post to attract people. So if you just like elaborate on that and what you think makes a really good post to attract distributors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was telling you guys yesterday that I think probably the majority of the distributors that I've signed have come from a post where they've approached me after a post. And that's how I signed up too, what post that Alyssa did, I just to. And so that's probably why that connects with me. But I think just with your posts, like make sure that you're really connecting with people and you're really being personal and you're putting a lot of emotion into it. And so when you write, are you guys getting a lot of feedback? I'm hearing like all this feedback all the time.
Yeah, I'm feeling like a lot of echoing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay, well, at least it's not just me. So yeah, when I sit down to write a post, like I really make sure that I'm connecting with someone and I'm kind of thinking about where people might be and what they're feeling and like what are the things that kind of held me back for so long from joining this business and what might have helped to give me that push to kind of like make me ready. And so really thinking about connecting with people. And then another good thing I think for signing distributors from your posts is talking about the spots you have open. That's been really successful for me of like, okay, I'm going to open 5 spots this month of people that I'm dedicated to training to whatever. And like recently I did one, like I'm looking for my next diamond or I'm looking to train my next 5 rubies or something. Like give them again, similar to the loyal customer thing, like that sense of urgency that like, oh, Claire only has that many spots on her team. I want to be one of them, you know? And so that can kind of create that sense of urgency. And then also, I usually always do a word with those posts too, because it's a big thing. Like, this is a big jump becoming a distributor for a lot of people. And so if they can just text you that one word, then the hardest part is over. And then you can just welcome them with your excitement and your gushing and all of that and go from there. But I try to just really write my story. And something we talked about, like, and Cassie will probably touch on it too, is like, don't worry about a long post, because the people that really need to hear it and the people that are really, like, have been watching you, they're going to read the whole post. And because they're invested and they're in your story. And so make sure that you're really sharing your story, or sharing what this business is doing for your life, because people are watching. Like, I can't tell you how many people have signed up that never reached out to me for like 6 months, 5 months, 4 months, and suddenly they show up and they're like, I've been watching you and I've been thinking about joining for this long. And all of your posts are like adding up together to make their decision. And so, yeah, and like, just be patient with them. Like, just be patient with your potentials, because those that are really watching for a long time and those that really are going to be in conversation with you for a long time, sometimes are going to be your best runners, because they're so, like, invested in this decision. Does that make sense? In my brain.
I just tried to turn down the volume a little bit to see if it would help.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
Is it helping? A little?
Yeah, I turned mine down.
I don't hear it in.
Yeah, I did too.
I hear me echo.
I'm not echoing, so maybe it's me.
Yeah, you're not echoing at all.
Yeah, you're not either. You're not. Am I echoing?
Yeah. That's horrible. That sucks.
No, they're saying it's much better. Much, much better.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep my volume really low, especially when I'm talking. So one thing that I think is really important is just reaching out to people to let them know that, and complimenting them about, like, just let them know about the business opportunity, because I've actually gotten a lot of loyals that way. If I've reached out to them and they haven't even responded about the business opportunity, and then I post something about the product, a lot of times they'll respond because I've already reached out to them. So that's already broken the ice, and they feel like I'm more of a real person, and so they're interested in the product. And then once they use the product and they fall in love with it, it's going to be easier for them to feel like, okay, I can get on board with the distributor. But a lot of times they're not even thinking about, the business opportunity initially. And another thing is I forgot where I heard this, but I think it was at a conference. Somebody said, I just always tell my loyal customers, like, I love that you're purchasing from me because it's making me money, but I would love to help you make money with this business. And just saying something as simple as that could really make a difference in somebody's thought process that they might not have ever, thought about that before. So, Cassie, what's one tip that you would give that would help somebody who's new or somebody who might be struggling with distributors that has helped you get over a hump?
I would probably say, like, bouncing off of what Claire was talking about, is I hate reading books, I hate reading anything, but for some reason on social media, I love reading posts. I love reading stories about people. And so one thing that, when I first started, I didn't really know how to post on social media because I never really did. So I never knew what to really talk about. Like, I didn't know how to make lifestyle posts. And when I scroll back to how I posted before I joined, or when I first joined, it was ads. It was ad after ad after ad. It was like quotes. Like, there were no normal pictures. They were all ads. And I was making sure I was posting every day because I'll tell you a story in a second. But I was posting every day, and I remember reaching out to Erin, and I was like, I had been in it for probably 2 weeks, but it felt like a month. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, no one's contacting me, no one's messaging me. Like, I don't understand. Everyone's responding to me. What am I doing wrong? And she was like, you're not doing anything wrong. Just be consistent. And I was like, okay. Well, then I started learning. I asked her, I was like, what can I do to, share myself better with people. And she was like, pick a leader, follow them, and copy how they post. And I was like, okay. So I picked like 5 or 6, and I watched how they posted. That's kind of what helped me was, watching how they word things and, learning how to tell a story, like in my post, like how things used to be before it worked, how things are now. But if you're just starting out and you're not really sure, like, what to talk about, then, talk about what you want ItWorks to do for you. So, anyways, I would, and one thing that's helped me a lot too with getting distributors, not just cold messaging, a post that I like to use a lot is how I'm looking for my next rubies or whatever level I want to talk about. Because I remember like the first day that I sat down with Erin and I was talking to her about the business when I first met her. She was like, I'm looking for my next diamond, and that can be you, but you're going to have to do A, B, and C in order to get there. And I was like, you tell me what I need to do and I'll do it and I'll get there. And that motivated me so much because I knew in that moment that she believed in me before I even knew that I believed in myself, because I had no idea that I was going to be successful in this business, because this is something I never imagined doing. And that motivated me so much, and just to have somebody believe in you like that is insane. It's just a motivation that you've just never experienced, I think. And so that's one thing that I like to do. Like, Kelsey, the post that you made today about how you were looking for your next diamond.
It was Claire's. I said it was Claire's post that I stole from her.
Oh, well, I saw it from you today, and so I was like, oh, that's so cool, because it reminded me of how I felt when, Erin had said that to me. And so I was like, that is so cool. Like, I could never imagine what a diamond income was when I first started, and that's what I pointed to on a chart when she showed it to me. And so I think that has helped me a lot too, is just talking to people about what their goals are and figuring out where they want to be and relating to them in that way. But yeah.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So, Kylie, you need to probably unmute yours, because I don't know if you can hear me.
Unmuted.
Can you hear me? Okay.
My computer's terrible.
Okay, so one thing I want you to talk about is, obviously filling your double chart, you have to fill it with distributors. And what's one piece of advice you give to new people as far as if they don't have a story about how they went diamond or how they went emerald or how they went double diamond, how they can still attract distributors when they're just starting?
One of the things that actually I always use was not only, like, again with goals, like I always would tell people like all the things that I wanted to do in the business, but like I have a lot of people that have asked me, how can I tell someone that they're about to make a lot of money if I'm not making any money? And so not only would I like say, well, I have like goals for myself of money that I want to make, but I would like use my upline. Like, I've just started in this business, but like the person that's ahead of me, like she's making this amount of money and she got there in this amount, and like I believe in myself enough to be able to do that as well. And so like that's a huge goal for me. I want to be able to get where she is. And so like I never let people like say that I don't think I could be good at this business because I'm not where you're at. Well, you just have to be able to, you can tell people goals of what you're doing to get to where I'm at, or whoever Alyssa's at, or whoever is above whoever.
Right. And I think like one thing too is, is saying like Erin actually tagged me in like a post that said like I'm gonna get that $20,000 bonus, like I'm charted for double and different things like that. And so many people were like attracted because they knew that like if it was attainable for me, that it could be attainable for other people. It's not like it was so far-fetched that they couldn't get to it. So I think that's like great advice. And then now that you are a diamond, how do you use that to your advantage as far as continuing to like build on your success if you haven't necessarily promoted recently?
Well, one thing that I use with like people that I'm talking to, because I'm like all about messaging. I message as many people as I possibly can, and like a lot of people will tell me when they're asking me how I did it, they'll always come to me with the first thing that either I'm too busy or I'm worried I'm not going to know enough people. And like one of the things that I feel like that people have ended up signing up with me is because like I validate those feelings because I felt the exact same way. And so like now that I'm at Diamond, I validate that. I understand what you're saying. Like I felt exactly how you did when I first started, and this is how I was able to overcome it. Like instead of being so afraid that I didn't know people, instead I just took the leap and I tried to reach out to as many people as possible. And I was surprised at how many people I actually knew when I went through my friends list. I knew more than I thought that I knew. And so like I always like validate those people and make them feel like I understand what they're saying, like because I was right there with them and I can help them get to where I'm at or where whoever else is at by helping them through it, just like Alyssa did for me.
Right. And I think that's really important too. Like one thing that I always mention to people and that I feel like really helps them think about it in a different light is I always say, for me, like the biggest thing that pushed me to make that leap of faith was I feel like if I didn't, I would regret it more because I would keep seeing Aaron or whoever else had joined this business continue to make a lot of money. And for me, it was worth that investment because if I never tried, that would be harder on me than trying and not doing good. Because at the end of the day, it was worth the $99 to me. It was worth trying it. And when I first started, Aaron said, the company says, give us a year and it will change your life. And I said, I'm going to give it 3 months of doing exactly what you tell me to do. Like, because I'm not that patient, but I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do. I'm going to be both feet in for 3 months. And that's exactly how it was. And I went, Diamond in 4 months. And so it just goes to show you, I was working full time. I had a 5-month-old. Brian travels a lot, so it's not like I was a person who had a ton of time, but I just decided that I wanted to give it the effort that it deserved. Granted, if it wasn't for that amount of time because I'm not patient enough. But now I understand how important that is just to like jump in right off the bat, even if you don't know what you're doing. And I always tell people, like, it took me 2 weeks to sign my first customer. So don't get discouraged because I feel like a lot of times people just feel like, especially when they look at the team pages, they feel like, oh my gosh, like all these people are signing customers within their first week. Like I thought it was crazy. I don't know if you saw, I think it was Susan Wade's post about how this person signed like 21 distributors or 21 loyal customers and 1 distributor in 24 hours. And I was like, that makes me feel bad about myself. But it's...
Uh-oh.
Oh,
You just heard
Rosie.
Frozen.
that's like the best view ever that she's frozen like that.
It's not moving.
You look so happy at least.
Well,
Kelsey.
Wait, I'm frozen?
No, you were frozen for
I'm
like
still frozen?
5 minutes, but it
you're good
wasn't.
now.
You're good now. You didn't hear anything you said. I just saw you laugh, and then you were frozen.
You're here.
Okay, am I still frozen?
No,
No.
you're good. No, that was amazing.
Okay, I was just saying, is there anything else that you guys want to add before we stop? Just about anything that we talked about, whether it's adding distributors, signing loyal customers, or goal setting that you thought about and forgot to mention.
I'll start. I was going to talk about the importance, which everybody always hears this all the time, but I think following up is something a lot of people don't do, especially when you're new. Is you might ask somebody about the business or products and they tell you no, and then you never talk to them again. You're like, well, fine, like don't buy from me. you know, but you can't have that mentality because just because somebody tells you no right now, that just means not right now. They might not have the money right this minute, or, you know, they might be going through something at the time, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to say yes in the future. And so you just have to remember, like, you know, when I first started, I probably followed up, like, I don't know, maybe monthly, and then, like, as it went on, I probably followed up like every 2 weeks or so, and now I follow up like every Friday, and if it's not Friday, then it's every Tuesday, or I wait exactly a week from the last time that I talked to them, and that's pretty frequent, but that's just what I do. But in the meantime, and I'm not always just talking about the business, like I will go, you know, to their social media page, or if I have their number, I'll text them if I know that they're going to be like on vacation, or I know that they're having a kid, or they're pregnant, or they're going to a birthday party, or it's their birthday, or whatever it is. If I know that they're doing something because I'm watching them on social media, I'm going to let them know that I'm there by liking their stuff and commenting. And then, you know, every week I'll probably text them and just be like, hey girl, how are you doing? Like, I won't always bring up the business, and when I don't bring up the business, they do, because they feel bad that they haven't talked to me about it, or they feel bad that they have ignored me because they know that I know they're ignoring me. And so, you know, that's just how you build those relationships, is following up. And there's just so many people that you'll follow up for, maybe it could take a year. You just never know. Everybody's different, and, you know, they're going to join you whenever they want to. But if they ever ask you for information about anything, they're always going to be interested. So you just have to remember to write their name down, and you follow up with them whenever you can. So I think that's a big thing that's helped me a lot, which is kind of common sense, but I think a lot of people forget to do it because some people are afraid of negativity and no's. And you guys, not everybody is going to say yes to you. Not everybody's going to say yes. You're going to get a lot of no's, but that's okay, because, you know, you hear people talk about all the time, like, you might get 100 no's before you get one yes, but when you get that 98th no, that means that you're two people away from getting a yes. And so you just have to remember to keep pushing, because you're that much closer to somebody who's going to benefit from these products or this business. So I would say that for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Another thing that I would say is, like, recently what I've been doing with people who have been on the fence is I basically say, you know what, I can, like, if they've continued to ask me questions but just not pulled the trigger, I say, you know what, like, I can say all the right things to you that you want to hear, but at the end of the day, I want you to want it for yourself. I want you to want it for your kids. I want you to want it for, you know, whatever reason I had initially talked about that they had discussed. And I kind of put it back on them, like, you have to make that decision that you want it, and then they have to think about, do they want it bad enough? Because at the end of the day, I don't want somebody to sign up and not do anything and not remember why they did it. So that's one thing that I've been doing that's really helped. Is there anything, Claire, that you want to kind of end with?
Yeah, I just wanted to say about steps to success in general, that something that really changed my business was starting to print the steps to success. And I think we all know about the steps to success, and we all know what they are. We all know that it's 4 loyal customers and 3 distributors. And because we know that, and because it's talked about so much, we don't feel like we need to print it out. At least I didn't. And the month that I started printing out my steps to success was my best month ever, and I really think it was something mental for me, and it was really powerful to have them there, like, hanging in front of me, and to see those blank spots and to want to fill them in. And that's still, like, such a motivator for me. And I think we all should see our steps to success as a worksheet, not a guideline. And I think, at least in my head, I had it like, this is a guideline for my business. If I do this, then I'll be successful. But no, like, I look at it as like my homework worksheet. Like, I have to fill this out every month. So that has really kind of, like, changed the game for me. And then just, like, one final point on distributors was just that I think it's really easy to feel desperate, especially when we have these huge promotions coming up, and especially when we have the bonuses and stuff. We can feel desperate, but don't push away a potential with desperation. Like, always be patient with your potentials, because like Cassie said, like, they're going to sign when it's the right time for them to sign. And so you have to be patient with them, and you have to just, like, hear them out and be so, like, caring about them as a person. And they're going to join when it's the right time, and you're going to, like, they're going to be better for your team that you've really invested in them, and that you're there with them, and you know what their goals are, and you know how to help them reach them.
Yeah, I love that. Like today I talked to a potential distributor and she said, you know, other people have reached out to me, but you've been so patient and just like so kind to me that, you know, it's made me want to invest in what you have, because I know that that's how you're going to continue to be as a leader. And you know, it's important to meet people halfway or meet people where they're at, because if the more understanding you are, you know, with their situation, the more likely they are to continue to be a part of your team, to respect where you're going, um, and just so they can feel comfortable talking to you. Um, Kylie, is there anything that you wanted to close with as far as anything that we've talked about?
Actually, yeah, I had like two things actually that something that was like super crucial for me for like my business that really changed everything. Like Claire said, like steps to success was like something that was huge for her. Like for me, I always feel like the thing that scares you the most is actually that's the thing that's going to take you to the next level. And so for me, like I only would post on Facebook for a while. Like I refused to use Instagram because it just scared me. And Instagram has been where I've gotten so many of my potential distributors and like where I've signed most of my distributors from Instagram. And it was literally all I had to do was take that leap of faith and just decide I don't care what people are going to say about me. I don't care if there's going to be more no's on Instagram. Like I would rather take that chance and grow my business. And so I would say if there's something that you're trying to do everything for your business, but there's something missing because there's something that's scaring you, like you need to step out of that comfort zone and just do it, because that's probably going to be the life-changing thing of your business. It's going to make your business explode. And another thing, the last thing is I think positivity is like so important in this business, because if you're posting negative things on your feed or if you're tagging people in negative things or anything, like the thing is this world is so negative, and people like things like this, like ItWorks or whatever. They like to be drawn to positive things. And so if you're like doing negative things and only posting certain things about the business, but then everything else in your life is negative, like it's not that you need to like hide those things from your life, but I've gotten so many people that say, I don't even care what you're selling. Like you're just so positive. I just want something like you in my life and on my feed. And so I think that's just so important, just to make sure that you are constantly being positive and always trying to better yourself, whether it's just like you as a person or as your business, always trying to take it to the next level.
No, I totally agree. I've gotten a lot of people too, like even if they've never bought anything, just to say like, you know, thanks so much for being positive. So I really think that that's an awesome tip. The last thing that I would say is just to try and be as relatable as possible. Don't try and make your life seem so perfect outside of ItWorks. You know, I'm not saying you have to sit there and make a sob story to try and get people to sign with you, but I think an important thing is you know, just talk about some things that you might struggle with, like not I wouldn't ever say like I've had a bad day, but I would just say, you know, I've been really busy today. You know, Brian's, you know, been traveling, and you know, Mac, you know, I'll post a picture of her crying every once in a while so that people know that, you know, I'm not the best parent in the world. Like, you know, sometimes, like recently, she's been hitting me, so I've just been hitting her back, and it's probably not like the most, not hard or like abusing her, but it's probably not the best parenting decision. So I always just try and say things that people can relate to, and the frustration. So I would say that that's probably but thank you guys so much for being on, and I hope that it helped any new people or any people that have been, you know, maybe in a rut, or people that just needed some additional advice and to get volume, or to get distributors, or, you know, just to have help with goal setting. So so thanks so much, and we'll do another thing soon. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us and see if we can help you anymore. Bye, guys.
Bye.